Hi, welcome friends. Welcome back with another module of the Earth Our Habitat Geography Class 6. Here I will cover the topic satellites, natural and man-made. So mainly we'll be focusing on what actually you understand by natural and man-made satellites. Learning goals, introduction, we will have satellites, natural satellites, artificial satellites, and at last, so fun activity, let's find it out. So satellites are small celestial bodies, just like the planets revolve around the sun. These satellites revolve around the planets. These are called companions of the planets because when the planets revolve around the sun, these satellites too move along with them. So remember the definition. I'll be making it more clear. A natural satellite is an object that orbits a planet or other body larger than itself, and which is not man-made. Such objects are often called moons. The term is normally used to identify non-artificial satellites of planets, dwarf planets or minor planets. There are 240 non-moons within the solar system, including 163 orbiting the planets, 4 orbiting the dwarf planets, and dozens more orbiting small solar system bodies. So the large gas giants have extensive system of natural satellites, including half a dozen comparable in size to the Earth's moon. Of the inner planets, Mercury and Venus have no moon at all. Earth has one large moon. The moon and Mars has 2 tiny moons. Phobos and Deimos among the dwarf planet series has no moons, though many objects in the asteroid belt do. Eris has one, Snomia, and Pluto has 3 known satellites, Nix, Hydra, and a large companion called Charon. The Pluto-Charon system is unusual in that center of mass lies in open space between the two characteristics of a double planet system. So here look at the picture. Here you can have a look of the natural satellite of our planet. This is Moon, which is orbiting the planet Earth. So we have only one natural satellite for planet, that is the Moon. So you understand the definition now. Satellites are small celestial bodies, just like planets revolve around the sun. These satellites revolve around the planets. These are called companions of the planet because when the planets revolve around the sun, these satellites do move along with them. So this is a clear picture how these satellites they move around the planet on their orbit. The moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. So there is the moon, and this is your planet Earth, the sun. And how does it move? You can have a clear understanding of that how it moves around the Earth. So Earth's only natural satellite, some facts: orbits Earth. The moon travels at 2,288 miles per hour. That's about 38 times faster than your car goes on the freeway. It takes 27.3 days for the moon to travel around Earth one time. which is 1,423,000 miles. The moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. So here are some 4 facts regarding the moon. Its distance is about 3,84,400 kilometers away from the Earth. It is the largest and the brightest object in the night sky. The moon does not have heat and light of its own. It reflects the light of the sun. This reflected light reaches us in about 1.25 seconds. The moon revolves around the Earth. It takes the same time to complete one rotation on its axis. As a result, on the Earth, we can see only one side of the moon. So that is why we always see, you can have a look of the picture, only one side of the moon you can have a look at a time. Other side is black most of the time, except when the Purnima is there. Now, Jupiter has most natural satellites in the solar system. So it has many natural satellites orbiting Jupiter. So the orbital properties and composition of natural satellites provides us with the important information on the origin and evolution of the satellite system. Especially, a system of natural satellites orbiting around a gas giant can be regarded as a miniature solar system that contains precious clues for studying the formation of solar system. So you need to read it out again to understand. The orbital properties and composition of natural satellite provides us with the important information on the origin and evolution of the satellite system. Especially, a system of natural satellites orbiting around a gas giant can be regarded as a miniature solar system that contains precious clues for studying the formation of solar system. So this is how you can study about the solar system and explosion also, how it took place, and the formation of the different natural satellites took place. Some more facts about the satellites. There are 159 moons in our solar system. Earth has 1 moon, Mars has 2, Jupiter has 63, Saturn has 61 moons, Uranus has 27, and Neptune has 13 moons. So here you can have a look of Mars with Phobos and Deimos, the natural satellite of the Mars. This is the planet Mars, and here is the 2. Phobos is the biggest natural satellite ever known, you can say, and this is Deimos, another one. So Mars and moon, Mars moons. Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. These are not actually moons, they are minor satellites. They are small chunks of rocks that were caught in Mars gravitational pull. So actually these are small chunks of rocks that were caught in Mars gravitational pull. So due to the Mars gravitational pull, they are orbiting the Mars. So these are 2 natural satellites, and Phobos is the bigger one. Now we will discuss about the origin of this natural satellite. Little bit you will try to understand. Natural satellites orbiting relatively close to the planet are generally believed to have been formed out of the same Class-6 region that gave rise to its planet. In contrast, irregular satellites generally orbiting on distant, inclined, eccentric and or retrograde orbits are thought to be captured asteroids possibly further fragmented by collision. So the different phases are there of the origin of these satellites, generally believed to have been formed out of the same collapsing region that gave rise to the primary formation of the planets, you can say. The Earth, Moon and possibly Pluto-Charon systems are exceptions among large bodies in that they are believed to have originated by the collision of two large proto-planetary objects. See the giant impact hypothesis, you will come to know about it. The material that would have been placed in orbit around the central body is predicted to have reaccreted to form one or more orbiting moons. As opposed to planetary-sized bodies, asteroid moons are thought to commonly form by this process. Orbital characteristics, tidal locking. Now, how these moon or other natural satellites, they are intact or tied within the orbit of their particular planet. Let's have a look. Most regular natural satellites in the solar system are tidally locked to the primaries, meaning that one side of the moon is always turned toward the planet. So most regular natural satellites in the solar system are tidally locked to their primaries, meaning that one side of the moon is always turned toward the planet. Natural satellites of the solar system. The largest natural satellite in the solar system, those bigger than about 3,000 kilometers across, are Earth's moon, Jupiter's Galilean moons, Io Europea, Ganymede and Callisto, Saturn's moon Titan and Neptune's captured moon Triton. For smaller moons, see the articles on the appropriate planet. In addition to the moons of the various planets, there are also over 80 non-moons of the dwarf planets, asteroids and other small solar system bodies. Some studies estimate that up to 15% of all trans-Neptunian objects could have satellites. So here we can have a look of our solar system and how these satellites, they keep revolving in between the orbit of these planets. So an artificial satellites. Now we'll discuss, we have learned about the natural satellites. Now we'll discuss what are artificial satellites. An artificial satellite is an object that people have made and launched into orbit using rockets. There are currently over 1,000 active satellites orbiting the Earth. The size, altitude and design of a satellite depend on its purpose. So you must have read or seen also that countries, they keep on sending these satellites to the space with different purposes. The shape and size of the satellites depends upon the purpose of the what they have to perform. So various types of satellites we have. All satellites are not celestial bodies. There are man-made satellites also. So this is again for that all satellites are not celestial bodies. I am talking about the natural satellites. So all satellites are not celestial bodies. There are man-made satellites also. They are called artificial satellites and are designed by scientists. They help to gather information about the universe. These are placed in orbits around the planets with the help of rockets. So with the help of rockets, they are planned. So here, look at the picture. You can have a look of the different satellites orbiting planets. An artificial satellite is an object that people have made and launched into orbit using rockets. So this is how they look, and as I said that they differ according to shape and size as per their purpose. So here you can see the launching module and artificial satellites launched into orbit using rockets. This is how they are launched using the rockets. So different phases are there of this rocket. Now we will discuss about types of satellites. Navigation satellites, the GPS, Global Positioning System, very common in the mobile phones. You must have seen it to know the height or latitude or longitude of a particular place. So in many phones, smartphones nowadays, GPS is an important part. Is made up to 24 satellites. The Global Positioning System is made up of 24 satellites that orbit at an altitude of 20,000 km above the surface of the Earth. The difference in time for signals received from 4 satellites is used to calculate the exact location of a GPS receiver on Earth. So this is how different satellites they are used to know the exact location of a particular place. So that is why to know the exact location and height above the sea level, this is a perfect tool, you can say. There are dozens upon dozens of natural satellites in the solar system, with almost every planet having at least one moon. Saturn, for example, has at least 53 natural satellites, and between 2004 and 2017 it also had an artificial one, the Cassini spacecraft, which explored the ringed planet and its moon. So this is interesting to know that how it explored the ringed planet and its moon. So it is by the help of these satellites, artificial satellites or man-made satellites, we are able to explore various other things in the solar system or about the celestial bodies in the solar system. Artificial satellites, however, did not become a reality until the mid-20th century. The first artificial satellite was Sputnik, a Russian beach ball-sized space probe that lifted off on October 4, 1957. That act shocked much of the Western world, as it was believed the Soviets did not have the capability to send satellites into space. So the first artificial satellite was Sputnik. It was a Russian beach ball size, and it was launched on October 4, 1957. Now we have another communication satellites type. These are used for television, phone or internet transmission. So you enjoy the smartphones, you enjoy the internet, you enjoy a match which is played in England and you watch it over here. Have you ever thought, or you can see the news of foreign countries of America, Europe and other Asian countries, or how the new problem occurred in USA in between the corona, the war between the white and the black. So all this is possible due to the communication satellites. These are used for television, phone or internet transmission. For example, the Optus D1 satellite is in a geostationary orbit above the equator and has a coverage footprint to provide signals to all of Australia and New Zealand. So they provide signals. India also similarly have many satellites which has been launched. Now let us look about some other types of satellites. The weather satellites. These are used to image clouds and measure temperature and rainfall. So every day you get the weather forecast. So how it is possible? It is possible due to these weather satellites, or you are getting about the information of the new cyclones which are affecting the coastal parts of India, Odisha or Maharashtra. The one which affected recently, and or the storm or the tornado or the heavy rainfall, when they are going to occur, all these information you are able to get because of these weather satellites. In your smartphone also, day to day weather changes, you can easily look on the update that is possible due to the weather satellites. So both geostationary and low Earth orbits are used depending on the type of weather satellite. Weather satellites are used to help with more accurate weather forecasting. So weather forecasting, these are very, very important. Earth observation satellites. These are used to photograph and image the Earth. Low Earth orbits are mainly used so that a more detailed image can be produced. So in Google Maps, you can have a look of any part of the world, and those images or picture of the Earth, different parts of the Earth, it may be country, maybe continent, it may be a very small area, a village also. So that is possible due to the Earth observation satellites which are involved in taking the photographs. So during the time of disaster, during the time of war or any types of endemic, or we can say that these are very, very helpful, so that you can take the photo image of the particular area and can be sent it to the authorities who are involved in rescuing the people, can easily take help of that through. And during the time of war, strategic importance, this is very, very important, and they help to find out the intruders or the enemies and helps the army to make plan how to overcome the problem. So these are Earth observation satellites. Now we have astronomical satellites also. These are used to monitor and image space. The satellites such as the Hubble Space Telescope orbits at an altitude of 600 km and provides very sharp images of stars and distant galaxies. Other space telescope includes Spitzer and Chandra. So different purposes are there. All satellites are made with different purpose, so they differ in shape and size. Now one more important thing, we have the international space stations. This is also, you can include it in satellite. This is a habitable space laboratory. Habitable means people are working over there, they live over there. Recently 2 Americans astronauts have gone to the this international space. So astronauts keep going and they are involved in various research work and repair work of the International Space Station. At an altitude of 400 km, the International Space Station travels at a speed of 28,000 km per hour and orbits the Earth once every 92 minutes. So it orbits the Earth once every 92 minutes. Scientists inside the International Space Stations are able to perform many valuable experiments experiments in a microgravity environment. So you must have had a look of this in TVs and videos also of International Space Station. So here is an image for you to have a look of the International Space Station. So here it keeps on revolving the planet Earth, and various astronauts are there who work inside this International Space Station. So all this is, I hope you have understood the difference between the natural satellites and the man-made or artificial satellites today. Hope you must have understood and enjoyed, and at last some fun activity for you. Let's find it out. Try to find names of Indian astronauts who have been sent to space. Are all satellites celestial bodies? So find out this answer, and let's, as we'll meet in the next module. Hope you must have enjoyed. Thanks.